Our community doesn't happen without people stepping forward and saying, I will do. And I feel so grateful for the extraordinary leadership that we have on our board, committees, on our executive committee, and in our president. And he is a busy guy. He's got a couple of guys running around who sometimes are a little hard to track down or get a hold of. And in the middle of it all, Dan Schnitzer gives to his community. So I'm honored to call him forward to address our community tonight.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shana tova, Gamar Chatima tova. Before beginning in earnest tonight, I actually want to proactively admit something. Seems like the right time of year for that. Some of what I have to say is actually going to sound eerily familiar to some of the words that Rabbi Graber spoke on Rosh Hashanah. And I actually considered changing what I had written after hearing his sermon because, especially in this academic community, I didn't want anyone to accuse me of plagiarism. But actually, when I reflected on it, I think that the moment that we are in emphasizes the need for this message. And so at worst, I feel honored to be aligned with some of the messaging of Rabbi Graber. And so some of you may remember that last year, as I addressed the congregation at this time, I expressed the difficulty I had in trying to figure out what to say. I got some very clear and direct feedback last year, and I had no such trouble this year as I opened up my laptop figuring out what to say and what the most important thing to do was tonight. I received at least 6 emails with similar messages, and I'd like to share one of them with you tonight. This helped me set my priorities for tonight. Dear Dan, I've been a member of multiple synagogues over 40 years and have heard dozens of presidents address the community. I can say without hesitation that your address on Kol Nidre was, without question, the shortest. They go on to say that they liked the message too, but they didn't bury the lead here. And so with precedent setting a high bar, my North Star for tonight is brevity, and I hope to meet that expectation. It would be unfair of me, though, if my brevity was realized by shorting on my gratitude. So I'll start there. I want to express my profound thanks to our committee chairs, our committee members, the Beth El board, and the Beth El membership for entrusting me with this role. I particularly thank our board and our committees for guiding me and working diligently for all of us. I want to thank the lay members of our executive committee, Leslie Winner, Rob Granick, Tobin Fried, and Kevin Ginsburg, for your leadership, your taking the time to teach me, and for your commitment to Beth El so that my kids have a strong community to call home. A special thank you tonight to Joel Abramowitz and Hal Sandick for organizing the many, many honors that take place during the high holidays. And of course, to Eric Myers for giving voice to these high holidays. Thank you to my stunt double, Jeremy Albin, and the ritual committee for all of your work, not just on the holidays, but around the year. I want to thank Adam Levine and the many other organizers of the Chavurah Minyan, to Jesse Summers and Philippe Chemla for your organization of the Orthodox Kehila. It is through their work, as well as all of ours, that make this a diverse and wonderful place to call home. And thank you, of course, to all of our youth service leaders and everyone else who has stepped up into the many roles needed to ensure a meaningful and smooth and safe high holidays. Then there's our staff, Rabbi Graber, Ed, Amy Granick, Amy Rips, Sherry, Zachary, Noel, Eliana, and Alexandra. You work hard and you work with passion, and the outputs of your labor are all of our spiritual inputs. Lastly, I do want to thank my family. They've supported me in my Beth El involvement. They've offered me counsel, and they've been highly understanding when I say I need to take a quick 5-minute call to return 40 minutes later focused on something completely different. And if you allow me to take a moment while I'm here, just for some personal and parental pride, I'd like to explain that the reason I joined the board was because my parents did the same thing at my schools and synagogues growing up. And they instilled in me and my sisters the importance of this type of participation in our community. I wanted to do the same for our kids. I'm honored that my parents joined me here last week for Rosh Hashanah and expressed what an incredible and beautiful community this is. I also feel that my kids have understood this lesson well. Upon hearing that the Lerner Jewish Day School was going to need a new playground as part of the Jewish for Good renovation, Eli, my 9-year-old son, was inspired by a book that he had read to raise money for the playground. He designed a t-shirt to sell, and along with his brother Zachary, sold produce from our garden to our neighbors, donating all of the funds to the playground project. For his hard work and dedication, for his focus and his deep understanding of tzedakah, Jewish for Good has awarded Eli the Earl and Gladys Siegel Young Leadership Award. He is the youngest recipient of this award by at least 25 years. So Eli and Zachary, we are so proud of you and the example that you have set for yourselves and your community. I should also note that other honorees just this year include Matt and Susan Springer and Elizabeth Gerson, also members of our Bethel community. It's incredible to see that, as in the prior years, Bethelians have a huge impact throughout the community and beyond these walls. As many of you know, Earl and Gladys Siegel are cornerstones of our Bethel community. And to know that my oldest child has been honored for its tzedakah leadership in their names is an honor that words cannot express. The intergenerational link, though, exemplifies perfectly what my theme for tonight actually is: looking back and looking forward. I've long wondered why Yom Kippur comes after Rosh Hashanah. Wouldn't it make more sense that as the year wraps up, we reflect on our misdeeds, we seek forgiveness on Yom Kippur, just in time to start the new year? We can have a full year of a clean slate and a fresh start. As I sought answers to this question, I came across an article written by an Australian rabbi named Jacqueline Ninio. Ninio writes, "There's hurt and pain, fear and trepidation as we examine our actions of the past year and take an honest look at ourselves. To do this, to find the courage to make a true accounting of our deeds, we need to be in a place of strength." He goes on, "All of the studies about resilience teach that gratitude and appreciating our blessings and the good which surrounds us is the means by which we build fortification to help us withstand the challenges which will come our way. Jewish tradition embeds that in our observance of these Yamim Noraim. We begin with joy, celebration, and gratitude. We focus on the good so that we are ready then to confront our less than perfect moments, our flaws, and our wrongs." This idea resonates with me for two reasons. The first is that the perspective that we start by raising up gratitude. We start the new year first and foremost thankful for all that we have and all that we have accomplished. We celebrate and surround ourselves with joy. We start from a position of strength and gratitude. And strength, as we the Jewish people define it, is the recognition that together we made it where we are today. Success and failure, we made it here together. The second reason this resonates with me is the understanding that we don't, in fact, get to start the new year with a clean slate. A clean slate would indicate no reference to the past, and only what is ahead of us. That is what Yom Kippur before Rosh Hashanah might feel like. In contrast, we dive into the new year with positivity, enthusiasm, and a healthy dose of Jewish guilt, a reflection of our actions of the past year. For 10 days, our desire to jump into that which can be is slowed by the weight of that which I have done. But the message is clear. Before we can move forward, we must look back. We must acknowledge and honor our past, and only then can we truly see our potential. This is my 10th Yom Kippur at Bethel, and my 8th as a board member. And I can assure you all that we are in a state of strength, gratitude, and confidence. Our membership has grown to over 400 family units. We regularly house 3 types of services, and our board is full and motivated. Our staff is focused and committed, and our finances are strong. Just a few highlights from the past year. We successfully met our annual campaign goal. We raised funds within just a few weeks to install solar on our building. We returned to in-person events and services, including the highly successful Yom Bethel just a few weeks ago. And we recently have agreed to lease terms for the Friedman Center with El Centro Hispano. Let's clap. I love it. El Centro is an organization that actively engages with and represents the Hispanic and Latino population in Durham, Wake, Orange, and neighboring counties. This partnership gives us an opportunity to deepen our relationships to our broader community and will provide the financial stability to better serve our Bethel membership. Building on this, in a few weeks, we'll be starting a strategic planning process. The process is designed to give us as a community a North Star to steer our resources for the coming years, a roadmap to guide us to who we want to be. This process requires us to do philosophically and tactically what Nino describes us doing now spiritually, to look back and to look forward. Who were we? What have we done well? Where have we struggled? What was the context in which Bethel has existed in the past? And by looking into the past and designing change for the future, we will not be pointing fingers or blame. We will not be saying that we have failed. We'll simply be saying that to move forward, we have to look back. For me, looking back on Bethel this year takes on special meaning. In this past year, after more than 25 years leading the Chevra Kadisha, David Clapper has stepped aside, and Eric Lipp and Ted Snyderman have stepped up to lead this sacred group. After an equally long tenure with the Women's Tahara group, the group tasked with the sacred task of preparing deceased women for burial, Chula Bernard has handed the reins to Libby Vaughn. And after years as our main Torah reader and Aliyah coordinator, Jeff Darby has passed on leadership to Adam Levine. And on behalf of Bethel, I thank these leaders, the ones who defined the trails in the past and the ones who are carving new paths to the future. For me, looking back is embodied every single time I come into this building and see a sign signifying the Snyderman building. It reminds me of the commitment of so many of us who have reflected on our own experience and committed to paying it forward for future generations. I see it when I walk by the Life and Legacy artwork in the front lobby, where many have committed to Bethel as a partial beneficiary in our wills, a program designed specifically to ensure that what was can blossom into what can be. And in a bigger way, when I look forward, I think about the turmoil going on in the world, as we Americans, Jews, and supporters of Israel become more divided, and how weather events across the globe threaten right now the most vulnerable, but invariably all of us due to climate change. As Rabbi said, I know that we as Bethel can't solve these problems. But the question comes up, what can we do? What is our role as to bring to the Jews in this tiny speck of the globe together to learn and to impact the world in a positive way? How do we as Bethel become the place where Jews of diverse beliefs, means, and identifications feel equally at home? And I wonder what role we can play within our non-Jewish community. Mostly when I look forward, I wonder what am I doing and what will we do collectively to set in motion a legacy that will ensure that our children have a strong, loving, and caring Jewish community. One where they can identify, one where they can be challenged, and one where they will embrace it. This is the opportunity that we have in front of us with strategic planning. But this is not about my vision. This is as a community looking back and looking forward, and it requires us all. We need your voice during strategic planning. There will be lots of opportunities to be involved, and we need you to take those opportunities. We need you to look forward. We need you to look back. We need you to embrace change, and we need you to be willing to let go of some of the past in order to propel us forward. We want to hear what you love, what you don't, and what you think we could and should be in the future. We'll ask hard questions, and we'll confront hard truths. We need input from those Bethelians who have been here for decades, and those who have just joined us, and those who have left Bethel. We need to hear what our seniors need. We need to hear what our kids need. We need to hear from you if you show up every single Shabbat, just twice a year in the high holidays, or just every once in a while for a program. This opportunity and engagement in our strategic planning process is our moment in time to make a difference in the trajectory of Bethel. Please take this opportunity to reflect back and to push us forward. As we begin Yom Kippur tonight, we are at a crossroads individually and as a community. We are in a position of strength while simultaneously vulnerable to thinking that tomorrow must be the same as yesterday. During the keystone prayer of tonight, called Nidre, we actually say that all of our vows, mi Yom Kippurim hazeh ad Yom Kippurim haba, from this Yom Kippur until next. It doesn't say from last Yom Kippur until this Yom, but from this until next. Not only do we look back on Yom Kippur, we're commanded to look forward. We are proactively acknowledging that we will make mistakes. Neither with Yom Kippur nor with strategic planning is perfection our goal. Progress is. And as we commit to personal goals for this year, I ask that you also make a commitment to help Bethel move forward. Participate in strategic planning, volunteer, join a committee, join the board, join the upcoming welcoming squad, participate in the annual fund, and with Life and Legacy. I look forward to seeing many of you over the coming months actively engaged in helping our community to look back and to look forward in order to set Bethel on a course for sustained success. Gemar Chatima Tova.